Hello there. I'm sorry that it's been a while since we had any videos on this channel. Life gets in the way. I have um, other channels, a couple of other channels. One of them is a woodworking slash luthier channel. And if you don't know what that is, lutherie is the making of stringed instruments. And luthier is the name of a person that does that. And I have an acoustic guitar build that I just began, and so my time has been spent focusing on that. And there might be a little bit less videos on here, or it might be like every other week or whatever. I don't know, because I'll be heavily into that build, and it requires a lot because I build them with hand tools, very little power tools, a handheld router and a handheld battery operated drill. I think is about the only quote unquote power tools that I use. Everything else is done by hand, and so it takes longer and it takes more, I don't want to say more skill, because there's a skill to working with power tools as well, but mostly that's in the form of jigs to make the machines run, although you can use jigs, and I do for some hand operations as well. It's just a different animal, but building an acoustic guitar with hand tools requires a lot of fine work, and so yeah, sometimes I'll get caught up in that. This is a fine India stone, and if you look at it, it's pretty much never been used. I think I used this side, yeah, because it's darker and you can see the line of the oil. But we're going to flip over and use this side today. And I'm going to be sharpening a Schrade old timer. This is a new model Schrade old timer, Trapper. So. We're going to put some oil on this. This is basically just mineral oil, just like this, that's been thinned or more refined. You can get it at places like feed stores and stuff like that for horse laxative, basically. You say, ooh, you're running your hands, it's a horse laxative. Yeah, don't you wash your hands after you sharpen? I mean, I'm not going to eat with 3-in-1 oil on my hands either. It's an oil. It's just used for that purpose frequently. That's all that it is. And I'm just going to do a straightforward kind of just pull this blade across the stone until I get sharp. That's all. So how's everyone getting along? We are doing well. Summer is in full swing. I went out to the bench. I have a bench in my backyard. That's where I do woodworking. Because I have a vise on that bench, and it's outdoors, so it's exposed to the weather and stuff like that. I do have a covering over top of it, but is exposed to the humidity changes, the temperature changes, all of that comes from it being outside. And the jaws of the vise, the jaws that sit against the edge of the bench that the vise closes up on, had actually split, and they lengthwise along the grain, and they weren't flat anymore. So I had to pull that apart, and wow. I had to pull that apart, and I'm going to keep going. That's sharper than a scholarly date. I'm just going to sharpen a little bit and replace it. And it was screaming hot. I think it's supposed to be like 92. The problem is not so much the heat, it's the humidity this time of year. I also did a video on a Miller's Falls number 14 hand plane. This is a fantastic wartime 1942 to 1948 number 5 jack. This is Miller's Falls calls it 14 because they go by the length, but it's the same as a Stanley number 5 jack plane. And I flattened the sole on that and did a video on that, which will air next Wednesday coming up on my woodworking channel. If you're interested in that channel, Hand Tool Wood Guy. Okay, just in case you're interested in it. I know I have some viewers that cross over from this channel to that channel and that channel from this. In other words, I have some viewers that found me here, but they found my woodworking channel and cross over and they watch both channels. And then I have some viewers that found me in the woodworking channel that have crossed over here. I also have Bluegill Bank Angler, which is a fishing channel that I do about once a month, a fishing video on that. The name of it is Bluegill Bank Angler because I fish from the bank and I fish for the panfish. So if you like to fish, and particularly if you like the little panfish, or if you just like seeing the nature and the outdoors and all of that, that's what that channel's for. And it's this channel, my woodworking channel, my fishing channel, or anything else that I do is meant to glorify the Lord. It's meant to be a blessing to God's children and a blessing to others. It's meant to show the hand of God, the beauty of God, whether it's in the skill to sharpen, the skill to work wood, or in the nature that's all around us as we fish, things of that nature, and whatever. Because see, I can sit and think about how I could be used all day long, but I'll never be able to understand how I can be used the way that the Lord knows how I can be used, if you understand what I mean. But I make no bones about it. If you look around, you see plenty of theology and biblical literature and books and stuff like that. If I raise the camera up, you'd see 10 or 12 Bibles. So yeah, that's a gorgeous edge. That's absolutely screaming good. So we're gonna clean my stone. One of the things that you should understand, a lot of people, when they get into stones like this and the Arkansas stones and stuff like that, they tend to want to act like they know what people did 100 years ago with, or 200 years ago with these stones and stuff like that. So they see me cleaning one of these stones and they go, oh, those guys never did that. How do you know? You weren't around 200 years ago. And I guarantee you, most of you haven't looked up any kind of literature or anything like that. Okay, that's one. Number two, I don't live 200 years ago. I'm in the United States of America in 2026. Okay, and I'm not trying to go back. Right? What I can tell you is that the cleaner that you keep these type of stones and the Arkansas stones, the longer they will cut well before you have to go grinding on them with something to refresh the surface of them. So it pays to make these clean when you're done. You can take that advice or you can not. It ain't no skin off of my teeth either way. I'm just telling you what I found out over decades of sharpening with this type of stone. Do what you want, but you will find that it makes a difference if you try it. This is a soft Arkansas stone from Dan's Wet Stones. This side I have sharpened on, but I want to see what this side looks like under oil. This side looks gorgeous under oil. It's got a lot of this purple and stuff like that, but so does this. Look at that stone. That's one of the things that I love about Arkansas stones. There's all kind of natural stones, and most of them are fantastic. Most of them that are known as razor homes, truly known as razor. Not a bunch of stuff somebody dug up recently and tried to sell you. Okay, but the tried and true natural stones. But this is uniquely American, and these stones are gorgeous. They are uniquely like a J-nat, a Japanese natural stone. Many of them are very unique. And there's not but one that looks the way that it looks. With Arkansas stones, it's the same thing. Particularly with the soft and the hard variety. Regular hard. I'm not talking about hard translucent, hard black, or anything like that. Although they are beautiful as well. And some of the translucents you can get white, you can get cream colors, you can get pink, just gorgeous stones. They're beautiful. And it don't hurt that I love honing on them anyway. Let's look. Look at that. Look how gorgeous that stone is. Look at that. Beautiful, beautiful. I'm using just a slight bit of pressure, not very much at all. And I will gradually lighten that pressure up. It's just what I'm doing now. You really don't need much, if any, pressure on these stones. If they're not like loaded up and stuff like that, which is why I keep the stone clean. Okay, but I do use, now I'm going to lighten up, a little bit of pressure sometimes on these stones. It all depends on what I think the steel might need. This is a 7 CRV, so it's a fairly soft steel. I think that's what this is. And that fine India probably put a really good scratch pattern in this stone. And so I wanted to give it just a little bit of pressure to kind of smooth the edge out a bit before I went to what I'm doing now, which is basically weight of the blade. Just a light few passes, and you don't need much. This blade, when it's done, won't even need a strop. And honestly, most times they don't. I use a strop because I like them. I enjoy the process. I don't sharpen for utility. Now, I take into account what I'm going to use the blade for and stuff like that. But I sharpen and I hone straight razors because I love doing it. And it's an art, just like everything else that's done by hand. Okay? Which is what I like. Why I have, hence, a hand tool channel. Okay? Because there's an art to doing things by hand. And I think some of the stuff, this hand sharpening and hand tool woodworking, if we don't preserve it, it's just going to go away. And the machine or the jig is going to take over. So, if I want to, I don't care whether the blade needs it or not. I'll go to a strop because I like the feel of that blade going over the leather. Similarly, if I want to go to a hard Arkansas, a translucent Arkansas, or a black Arkansas, or if I want to come off of this and go to a Belgian conical or something like that, then I'll do it just because I like doing it. That's the deal with that. But anyway, that's a gorgeous, gorgeous edge. We're going to start right there. I'm going to check it for burr formation just in case I missed anything. And I don't feel any, but I can feel the keenness of that edge. Oh yeah. Beautiful stuff. Once again, thank you for coming along. If you're a viewer of mine, I really appreciate you being with me. Bless you. I'll talk to you later.